Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to our SBL series. And today we'll be discussing a topic which every future business leader must understand: how new and disruptive technologies are transforming business analysis. Disruption is not just an IT buzzword anymore, it's a leadership challenge. Think about how Geo changed telecom in India or how Amazon changed retail globally. Now, when I use the word disruptive, what I'm essentially trying to say is that the way businesses traditionally functioned and the way the thought process was, now it's completely different. Today, technology is not support, technology is a strategic weapon. So, we'll step by step, we'll go through different technologies that they have mentioned in your syllabus: cloud computing, mobile and smart technologies, and how they affect strategy and how you should evaluate them in the exam. Now, when we say technology fundamentals, we mean the three building blocks that now support almost every business: cloud, mobile technology, and smart connected devices. Now, cloud gives access to massive computing power without owning servers. Mobile technology connects billions of users anytime, anywhere. Smart devices and Internet of Things close the loop. They learn, they sense, they act, and that's how it's becoming like an almost AI driven world. For example, Paytm runs on cloud platforms, reaches users through mobile apps, and relies on smart authentication devices in stores. Globally, Uber combines the same three pillars: a cloud backend, a mobile interface, and a GPS enabled smart data. They aren't technical tools, they are your strategic levers. But before I talk about cloud computing, I want to show you a video which I find extremely funny. Bear with me for a moment. I just want you to watch this. I just can't get my head over this.
Keeping those private files. So you're now no longer are you necessarily keeping those private files in some file cabinet that's locked in the basement of the house. It's on your laptop, and it's then therefore up here in this cloud that exists above us, right? Up here in this cloud that exists above us, right?
I mean,
It's no longer in a physical place.
I know this is not the main focus of our discussion, but this woman was supposed to become, or she was a candidate to become, she was running for office in the United States. I mean, the world would have been such a funny place had this woman actually become the president of the United States. I mean, इसे तो कुछ नहीं आता, इसे अच्छा तो some, I don't know, some office boy can explain cloud better. I mean, this woman as the leader of the free world, my God, there is still some sense left in the world. But okay, the option of course was Donald Trump. And while we can keep on discussing the irony in who became the president ultimately, the focus is not that. The focus is cloud computing. Now, what exactly is cloud computing? It's not, of course, it is what she said, it exists in a space above us because every other technology stands on it. Cloud computing simply means renting computing resources over the internet instead of owning them. So, if you have ever used a Google Drive or Office 365, you have used the cloud. Companies, for companies, this changes the finance model completely, from huge capital expenditure to simple monthly payments. An Indian startup like Razorpay or Zerodha doesn't need to build a data center, it rents one instantly. Netflix streams to millions using Amazon Web Services. That's infrastructure as a service in action. For your SBL exam, whenever you are analyzing digital transformation, mention that cloud computing turns IT from a cost center into flexible pay as you go resource, right? And there are two cloud service or cloud models. One is internet as a service, full infrastructure on rent, where Amazon Web Service provides hosting services for startups in Bangalore, and platform as a service, a ready-made environment for developers. Microsoft Azure's App Studio is a is platform as a service. It lets coders build applications without buying servers. And then, of course, there is software as a service, finished software accessed by subscription, like Salesforce CRM or India's Zoho Books. Each model reduces the barriers for different kinds of users: infrastructure for large firms, platforms for developers, and applications for end users. Okay, now how does the cloud's infrastructure differ from the traditional infrastructure? Compare the old and the new. The traditional IT meant air conditioned server rooms, huge licensing costs, and maintenance headaches. Cloud computing shifts all that responsibility to the provider. When TCS runs analytics projects for a global client, it can scale servers up for a project and down when finished, something which was impossible with owned hardware. That flexibility is a strategic agility that you could get. Now, I'm sure some of you have seen those huge server rooms, where even the slightest amount of dust can cause disruption to the server, and these have to be kept air conditioned at all times. This is not how modern infrastructure or cloud infrastructure is working. And migrating to that, of course, there will be a certain amount of cost involved, but it can be scaled up or down at any point in time. Okay, now that is, see, cloud services eliminate that capital requirement, or, those huge funds which you would require for setting up the server room and the extensive investment in IT-based technology. Now, everything can, and you don't need that space anymore. That space can be put to better use, or you can save on the renting cost, and everything is uploaded on the cloud itself. Now, when you are thinking about cloud adoption, the leadership must evaluate three things before going all in on cloud: cost, cash flow, and flexibility. Why cost? Because economies of scale make cloud often cheaper. Depending on the scale of the business, see, as your size grows, your storage, your data requirements, all of these will also go up. So, for handling data of that size, cloud might be the best way out. uh, it will also help you to save on cash flow, because now you're, instead of you know purchasing air conditioners, and instead of having a separate room dedicated only for this, which basically involves capital expenditure, now you will have to think about it from an operating expenditure standpoint, that every month you have to pay, for example, 50,000 rupees to the cloud, and you can get access to as much data space as you want. So that initial investment in non-current assets, like building rooms, air conditioners, hardware, machines, all of that is saved, and now you only make monthly payments like a lease rental. And flexibility, because you can now scale operations instantly. I mean, Nykaa scaled its e-commerce platform during Diwali without buying a single new server. Okay, and Airbnb, it handles traffic surge in pretty much the same way. But strategy is about balance. The board must assess data sensitivity, legal restrictions, and vendor reliability before approving the shift. Something that, you know, is are your end users ultimately going to be okay with it? Are there any, legal complications that might stop you from, hosting the data on cloud? There could be data privacy concerns. There could be many such issues which could restrict, your overall ability to migrate to a cloud-based system. But the cloud-based system is not without its benefits. See, it gives flexibility, speed, and cost efficiency. Infrastructure that once took months to set up can be set up in hours or minutes. Now, startups can launch nationwide apps without owning a data center, and multinationals can collaborate seamlessly across continents. For example, Mahindra Finance uses cloud analytics to deliver rural credit decisions faster, while Unilever globally consolidated 500 servers into a single cloud network, cutting IT costs by 40%. So, cloud is not just IT convenience, it's the route to competitive advantage, which can save time, and time, can be put to far better uses. But it's not without its challenges, huh? See, companies and leaders should be okay with the downside. See, whenever data leaves your premises, security becomes a shared responsibility. Cloud outages can bring down entire services down. Like, imagine Google Pay not working, or imagine Amazon outage, which paused streaming and so many services worldwide. Now, there are ownership questions: who owns the data generated on the provider's platform? Now, in India, RBI and SEBI insist that regulated companies maintain control over sensitive customer data. That is why banks will always prefer hybrid models and will not shift to 100% cloud based systems, right? And you could have a hybrid strategy. What happens is, like, we'll discuss the example of how HDFC Bank does it. But what if there is an outage? Then you might not be able to access even your own data, and that creates a lot of dependence on, these internet service providers. System outages can bring down operations for hours, and even if they are down for minutes, that can still lead to a huge loss of sales. And then, of course, there are intellectual property issues: who owns the data? right? Now, when it comes to hybrid cloud strategies, this is what a lot of organizations follow. They test non-critical systems first, HR or marketing, before migrating core operations. I mean, much to the surprise of a lot of HR professionals in the world, they are non-core, right? Uh, HDFC Bank, for example, they began by moving analytics and CRM to the cloud while keeping the core banking system on internal servers until reliability was proven. Once the performance stabilized, then they decided to expand further. This phased evidence based approach is exactly what they are asking you when they are talking about implementation strategy. A hybrid transition model makes a lot of sense as compared to, a traditional model where uh, as compared to a traditional model where you go cold turkey in one day, you stop the tradition, you stop your existing systems and you migrate to a cloud. That might create a lot of disruptions. And because your team is also not trained in handling that, it could lead to downtime, not because of the system but because of your inability to handle the system, which is why a phased manner of implementation makes sense. Let's talk about mobile technology now. Arguably the biggest social and business evolution of our lifetime. I think India has over a billion mobile connections. For many people, the phone is the computer, right? That's why businesses design everything mobile first, from banking to shopping. When you pay with Google Pay or order from Swiggy, you are part of a mobile cloud ecosystem. These apps they rely on lightweight front end connected to heavy analytics running on the cloud. Mobile tech means accessibility, 24/7 connectivity, and convenience. But it also blurs work life boundaries and increases cybersecurity exposure. I mean, tell me about it. In COVID times, when we were working from home, thanks to our WhatsApps and phones, our phones would buzz all day with work and messages related to work. And it becomes very difficult to separate your work from your personal life. But then I think those are some of the necessary evils that come with it. There's nothing you can do about it. But it also has, there is cybersecurity exposure. Your uh, digital well-being is at stake right now because anybody can gain access to your data, and before you know, a lot gets hacked. So, mobile technology is truly a revolution in that sense of the word. And the mobile network infrastructure basically is that's the magic behind, while this is a simple handheld device, there are so many huge infrastructure items which make this, device without a cord, without anything, do so much for you. That's cell phone towers, your radio networks, Wi-Fi technology, and Bluetooth connectivity. Like 4G gave us the bandwidth for video streaming and instant payments. 5G will enable industrial automation and real-time control systems. I mean, Reliance Jio's 5G trials in factories aim to power remote machine monitoring, and globally, 5G is enabling autonomous trucks in Europe. I don't know. I mean, I can't trust human drivers to drive a truck properly. It's very difficult for me to trust app driven vehicles. I mean, I keep on hearing about the Magenta line having, driverless metros. I don't know. I mean, I would prefer a human's work more than, talk machine driven work. Now, when you're talking about network readiness, mobile network readiness, you'll have to consider everything, right? Cell phone towers, the ability to support the 5G network, Wi-Fi technology, Bluetooth connectivity, all of these will play a critical role. Now, this mobile technology brings in a ton of benefits. I mean, just today, I wanted to open a Geo BlackRock mutual fund wala account. So I opened their website on my phone, and I opened their app on my phone, and it asked for certain details, my Aadhaar, my photo, my PAN, my whatever. And then suddenly within minutes my account was open and I could start, investing. Not a couple of years ago, but maybe some 8, 9 years ago, when I opened my first Demat account, I had to call this person. He came with, he gave me a list of documents that he wanted from me, and it took at least 2 weeks for the Demat account to get activated. But right now, it's all happening so seamlessly online that there is really no need for me to even have those field agents work for me. I mean, everything is so easy, everything is, at the click of a button. But there are risks, distraction, employee burnout from always being connected. I mean, we have bosses, or I used to have bosses who would message me at 3 in the middle of the night. And Indians, unfortunately, don't have that sense of segregating your work and your personal life, and they consider it as their birthright to call you and message you at any given point in time. And see, with of course these systems, data theft and all of that will come into place. I mean, my Chashmeka number has gone up like no one's business because scrolling. And it's not because I'm scrolling Insta. Most of my work is on my phone. I mean, I talk to students on my phone. So which other way do I communicate with them, right? Now, but of course, it is what it is, and it has to be dealt with. There is no other way. Now, when we talk of the next step, which is smart technology and Internet of Things, where devices talk to each other and they act without us. I mean, connected devices like a fridge that can be monitored through an app, or smart devices which sense and react, such as lights adjusting to occupancy. I mean, my phone is smart in that sense. Now, at night, when I open my phone, it adjusts the brightness so that it doesn't hurt my eyes that much, right? Uh, it isn't difficult for us to even conceptualize the fact that you can manage your AC, your tube lights, your everything on by connecting those devices to by connecting those devices, and you can control them through an app. Or Internet of Things, which is the latest kid on the block. It exchanges data automatically like factory sensors. In India, Tata Power installs smart meters for energy efficiency. Mahindra Agri Businesses uses soil sensors to optimize irrigation. And globally, Caterpillar, which is not the animal, the company, uses Internet of Things for predictive maintenance of heavy equipment. Now, what exactly is Internet of Things? I'm sure you have, I mean, think of smart devices and then let's think of making them smarter. Internet of Things is basically a way of making devices smarter by establishing a certain level of interconnectedness. Okay, it refers to a network of physical objects like devices, machines, vehicles, sensors, or everyday items that are connected to the internet and can collect, exchange, and act on data without needing direct human input. IoT is when things, not just computers, are connected and communicate through the internet. So instead of your phone or laptop being smart, your refrigerator, car, factory equipment, or even streetlights can now send and receive data. Right. So there are sensors or devices that collect data from the environment, temperature, location, motion, heart rate. Then of course, this data is passed over through connected mediums which make use of Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, mobile networks. The collected data is sent to servers or cloud platforms that processes and analyzes it. And then the action or the output is that these insights are used to trigger action automatically or inform people, like turn on the AC, alert maintenance staff, or see, it's not just monitoring, but it also helps in responding automatically. Now, the way Internet of Things can help you is it can help you in real time monitoring and reduce downtime and waste. It can help you make some sort of a prediction about system downtime, system failures, and you can build your network and your resources accordingly to tackle that. So Internet of Things is basically connecting things and then using communication devices to first of all collect the data and then monitor the data and then come up with action points for future. Okay. Then smart technology business applications. See, in there are so many sectors which are right now benefiting from this technology. In oil and gas, seismic sensors improve exploration accuracy. In food, temperature sensors ensure shelf life quality. In manufacturing, predictive maintenance prevents costly breakdowns. And in automotive sector, 3D printing enables customized designs. Closer home, Maruti Suzuki uses robotic welding systems that self-correct alignment errors in real time, boosting quality and safety of the vehicles. Now, each example shows a direct line from technology to productivity, sustainability, and customer value, which must be highlighted in the answers in your exam. Now, if we were to evaluate it from with respect to every industry, healthcare is also undergoing a revolution. There are devices which track the heart rate. Then there are glucose levels, which track glucose levels, which detect fall. If a person falls, that it's like a bracelet or an anklet that is attached to you. And if your vitals are triggered, then it will send an alert to doctors immediately. Indian startups like Healthify Me use wearables and AI nutrition coaches to, promote preventive health. Transportation is also evolving. Cities deploy smart traffic lights. Logistic firms use GPS tracking to optimize routes. I mean, Delhi Metro is using predictive maintenance sensors on escalators and trains. So, all of these, healthcare, transport, every sector for that matter is receiving positive benefits out of it. But it's not, no new technology is without its risks. There are vulnerabilities, security risks arise because every connected sensor can be hacked. Privacy concerns are growing because devices collect intimate behavioral data, and global regulations differ, making compliance complex. So there was a time when baby monitors and CCTV cameras were hacked worldwide in 2016, and it can be, I mean, they will enter your bedroom, bathroom, everywhere. They will enter the insides of your body without knowing, or the insides of your brain. It's scary how it can completely take control of your lives, which is why the Digital Personal Data Protection Act and all of these things, no, they are trying to make sure that consent is obtained at each stage, and they just don't dive inside your life without taking specific explicit permission from you. See, technology is now, it's not a support function. It has that main character energy. So it will help you in cost leadership, it can enable differentiation, it can drive innovation. See, cloud computing supports cost leadership, like less capex and shared services. Mobile cloud computing enhances differentiation, personalized messages, real-time engagement. Smart tech fuels innovation. Entirely new products and ways of working, like remote monitoring and teleworking. Like Reliance Industries uses technology to integrate refining, retail, and telecom, creating synergies competitors can't easily replicate. So you can connect technology with Porter's five horses model also when you are attempting these questions in the exam, right? Now, when I talk about data driven strategic decision making, see, disruptive tech feeds strategy through data. Leaders combine external intelligence, market trends, regulations, competitor moves with internal analytics like sales, finance, operations. For instance, Tata Steel blends external commodity forecast with internal cost data to decide hedging positions. Or globally, Coca Cola uses social media. It listens to what is the sentiment on social media to design new flavors. See, when they ask you about how management should use information for strategic planning, you have to say integrate external and internal analytics to drive proactive, evidence based decisions, right? And when it comes to business information architecture, how should the systems be built? There are three layers that you need to keep in mind. The operational layer, which is basically, running daily transactions like billings and order tracking and monitoring. Management information systems that convert data into performance dashboards, giving a list of all orders placed and not delivered, orders placed and delivered, delivered within the time, delivered beyond the timeline, whatever it is. Then executive information systems, which summarize key indicators for the board. Right now, I think most of the business leaders today only look at dashboards, and founders, co-founders, and see those senior level resources, they will only look at the executive summary. And with so many data visualization tools like Alteryx ho gaya, Tableau ho gaya, Microsoft Fabric ho gaya, all of these things, they become easier, right? And now you don't need to look at individual ledgers. I mean, those black and white ledgers, I think, are a thing of the past. It's very all colorful pictures and, graphs that will help you understand. Now, the future of business technology integration, see, you have to blend innovation with responsibility. The convergence of cloud, mobile, smart technologies offers unprecedented opportunities, but success depends on leadership discipline. You cannot, simply just switch over one day. It has to be a phased movement. The implementation has to be gradual. It cannot be cold turkey, stop the traditional systems and move on to the new system. You have to do continuous monitoring through integrated information systems and As you move along, you have to keep on performing iterations so that you can optimize the data. See, in today's day and age, technology adoption is not a choice. It has become imperative. It's compulsory. Otherwise, you will fade into oblivion. Nobody will care. So whether it's Reliance redefining industry, the way, data is looked at and making use of those synergies captured through data, or a startup from some tier 2 city scaling on the cloud, the message is clear: adapt, innovate, and govern. Now, in the exam, what they will ask you is how does this create strategic value, and what new risks will come up, and how do you plan to tackle these risks?